so that we can be able to understand it and pass it on. And that's one of the things that he talks about in chapter 10 this week, is that a leader's job is to inspire the organization and to help them keep their why protected and clear and empowered enough to be able to communicate it, so that the company's integrity is protected and the why is always protected, and that we never, ever, ever lose our why. From what Petter gave us all the way down to all my leaders, to me, handing it to you and the leaders that we have helping you. So that is my job, is to work and understand this enough to help all of you understand it so well that we can inspire. And he talks about, in the beginning of chapter 9, he describes a commercial from Apple, how everything, just imagine everything in the commercial, including the people, were like these like drone type people dressed in gray, walls gray, ceilings gray, everything was gray. And then he said there's this one woman that comes running down the hall in this bright red dress, a blonde, and is running, you know, from the regime that is depicted in that commercial. And that's our Apple's why, is that they support individuality. And I love that, you guys, because again, I apply everything to Arbonne, and that's what Arbonne does as well. Arbonne supports individuality with our why. Our why is to help people live healthy and to do it with ingredients and to make a difference in people's lives with our products, but also to be able to give them the opportunity. If you guys have not watched Petter Mork's videos, you need to go get to know our founder of our company. Yes, we have a CEO today. We've had many CEOs. I love the one that we have today, but it is our founder's why he started Arbonne that you need to connect with and get in your gut and your heart and your soul, so that you as the leader of your company can protect. Because as I'm talking to you on this book club, I'm talking about what Arbonne has done so that I can help you understand Arbonne's why. But what you need to understand is that as a leader for your business, and it may be a small business right now, but even so, you are the leader of your business, and you have to know what your why is so clearly, and it's connected so clearly to Arbonne's why, that you can inspire and help your organization that you grow to cling to that why and ooze it for you as your organization grows. And it's not only you oozing it, but in order to ooze it at all, you have to know it. And you have to take the time to get to know our founder and who he was, what he did, but most importantly, why he did it. And I know I've posted those videos. They're on our homepage and our website and our organizational website. And I asked people, since I have encouraged all of you, have you watched that video yet? And I've gotten back the answer no, by more than one person. And it befuddles me, honestly. I'm like, if you're telling me you want this business, but I'm telling you this is something you have to do in order to be able to get this inside of you the way it's inside of me, for you to believe what I believe, you aren't taking and doing that, I don't get it. That's what confuses me, because all that is doing for you doesn't matter to me, but what it's doing for you is it's making what you are here doing harder, because you don't know and understand truly the why of it that you're doing. I am teaching you this, but I am not the one that started it. Our founder is. And if you can go get to know our founder and take those few minutes that it takes to watch his videos and get to know who he is a little bit, then all of this that we teach you as leaders will make more sense to you, and it will be able to help you communicate it more clearly, which is what chapter 10 is talking about. So what I want to challenge you to do is not just sit here and yeah, I know that, or yeah, that sounds like a good idea, or yeah, thanks, Carlita, because you just did this for me. I know I spoon feed people because I want to inspire you to want to go get what it is I've got. That's the only reason I spoon feed you. It's not to keep you from having to do it yourself. It's to inspire you to want to go believe like I believe, so that you can ooze Arbonne's why, and everyone be attracted to you and be inspired to be loyal to you and your business. That's what this whole book is about. And so, is it a little bit hard? Yeah. But you know what? Is it worth it? Yes. It's hard for me to do this. It may be hard for you to go watch those videos of Petter, but you've got to get the discipline to do what I discipline myself to do for you every week. If you ever want your business to be able to be that unstoppable business that grows and becomes its own entity without anything of you. So he talks about this commercial and how it supports individuals who think different. And that, again, you guys, is why Arbonne and who Arbonne is that it's people, empowering people with the individual spirit of why Apple exists or why Arbonne exists. He says, Apple knows their why, and so do we. You agree with them or not, we know what they believe because they tell us. And it doesn't matter, you guys, if people agree with Apple or not. They don't change what they do. It doesn't matter if people believe what Arbonne does or not. It doesn't change what Arbonne does. It doesn't change what I do. It doesn't change what I believe. And that's what you guys need to get to is know that your why is so strong and so connected to Arbonne's why that you're out there sharing it with your world and helping other people know about it and inspiring those that want to believe like you believe. But if they don't believe what you believe, it doesn't affect you because you are going to keep believing and doing what you do and believe whether they do or not. They can join you or get out of your way. And that is what we have in Arbonne, just like Apple has. And what I love is that it does support you, whoever you are, wherever you are, however you are. It doesn't, like with Apple, there's so many different kinds of people that use their products. With Arbonne, we have the same thing. We have this wide range of people that love Arbonne's products. It doesn't mean that you have to all be the same person to believe in Apple or to believe in Arbonne. You all get to be who you want to be, more so because you reject the conformity that we have in our world. We reject the normal. Like I say all the time, if you ever hear your name in the same sentence as the word normal, that means you should turn around, about face, and run the other direction, is what I've taught my kids, and really all of you who are my second generation kids, because it's not what you want to be. That's being like in that commercial with Apple and being those gray people that are just doing what everybody has always done because it's what everybody has always done. And it's not being able to stand up and go, you know what? I want it to be different. I want my life to be different than everybody else that I've done life with up until this point. I don't want to be and recreate the cycle of being unhealthy just because that's what my family has always been. I revolt against that kind of mindset with my health history in my family. And I won't conform to it. That's what you want to do, is you want to decide, do you want to conform to what life has always been for you and what you have been taught and how it has been handed down to you? Or do you want to stand up and revolt and be the one in the red, running out the hallway going, I choose to do it different? The same thing with financial health and lifestyle. I revolt against being controlled by my finances and money and having to think about money all the time just because I'm trying to figure out how to make ends meet. I revolt against that. I know that's how it's been done in my family forever, but I'm revolting against it. And I will not conform to that because it's not who I am. And I found Arbonne, who supported my individual thinking enough to give me a vehicle to go and do life how I choose to do life. And I do life different than other people, and Arbonne does it. I don't just spend the money I make here because I don't want to keep recreating the cycle. I've changed my ways of handling money so that I could have a different lifestyle. Some people come into Arbonne, you guys, and more money just means bigger financial problems unless you learn how to fix the problem that brought you here in the beginning. So decide if you want to conform or be an individual that stands up for what you really want for your life and help inspire others to go and have that for their lives. He talks about on page 155, he says, speak clearly and ye shall be clearly understood. And he talks about how the organization, everything the organization says and does communicates the leader's vision to the world. And that is exactly what Arbonne has done. And you guys, we've even cleaned up what we have communicated, because we did get a little off track, just like he talks about later on in chapter 10, how at one point in our business, some of you may not even know, but in our holiday season, Arbonne did use artificial fragrances and stuff to give some holiday fun to the products. And a few years ago, that's not how Petter started. We didn't have that when he started our company, and his vision was for clean ingredients. But we started doing that because somebody in the company thought that would be a good idea. Well, as we have evolved and grown, we've decided that does not line up with our why. And now we have no products, not even in our holiday line, that have any of those ingredients that are banned from our ingredient policy. We never leave our ingredient policy today. And I love that that is who we are, and that it's so clearly communicated to the outside world. And he says, it doesn't matter if people like buy us or like us or whatever. He says, if people don't buy what you do, then they buy why you do it. What's happening at the what level has to be clearly represent why the company exists. And it gets really hard, you guys, if you don't clearly represent your why. And I love that Arbonne does that. Today, we clearly represent our what, so that it reflects our why. And there's not a doubt. He says, when a company is small, it's not an issue. He says, because the founder has direct contact with the outside world that is growing his company and using his products. The founder or leader, he says, actually is the one that goes out and talks to the customers, just like Petter did us. And why I believe so strongly in what he believes is because I got to hear him, because whenever I joined 16 years ago, we were small enough that he was still connected to us as a company. Well, now he's not even on the face of this earth. And his company has grown, and it has, morphed and starts to take shape. But he says, as it grows, a leader's role changes. And he says the source of the message it starts flowing through the megaphone that he has pictured here. And so here is where the leader is, and it's at the top of the megaphone. But as a company grows, the megaphone grows, and the leader has to start making sure that at this level, that at the what level, and a company has to make sure that at the what level, it is still communicating so clearly why the company is and does what it does, that the what just magnifies it and helps then affect the law of diffusion and hit the majority of people. He says, when a company is small, it revolves around the personality of the founder, and there's no debate that personality is the personality of the entire company. But as a company grows, the CEO's job is to personify the why, to ooze it, to talk about it, to preach it, and to be a symbol of what the company believes. And so then the job becomes of a leader to inspire people. And you guys, that is kind of, not that I don't still talk to individuals and gather customers myself. I will always do it. And honestly, it's my favorite job. I have to discipline myself to make myself do my leader job. But my job today as a leader of this organization that has grown bigger than me and is way out of my personal reach of people is I have to work to inspire leaders that want to believe like I believe, so that my megaphone and what you guys are out there doing reflects my why and Arbonne's why, and it stays crystal clear. The message stays crystal clear to everyone that we're out there talking to. He says it's the job of the leader to inspire. And that, again, you guys, is why I want you to watch Petter's videos, why we say stay connected. I think those of you who stay connected on these book club calls get inspired and stay more connected to the why of the company, because you're connected to a leader that is now, it's my job to do this for you. And it's smarter for me to teach this to the masses than it is for me to go out and spend every second of my time speaking to individuals, you guys. I, as a leader, have my organization, really more than anybody else. There's not anyone else in my organization that has the size that I have of the people. And my job, more than anybody else, NBPs included in my team, is to inspire them to be able to communicate clearly their why, our why, to all of you. And that is where it's smarter for me to work as a leader in that position and to do that job than it is to do what I did whenever I first started this business, even though that's the part I love the most. And I have to discipline myself to do it. But what I want all of you to know is that it's really your job is to just keep finding customers at this point. And then your job is to connect your clients and customers, meaning your team, to the source of your inspiration, to the people that have the why so clearly and help inspire and teach and ooze and lead you and your organization to believe what we all believe. You don't have to do my job. It's not even what you're supposed to do. You need to be gathering customers and connecting them to the inspiration and the power source that you are connected to. And that's why it's one of the S's in our recipe for successes is to stay connected, and why we help you teach your team immediately how to connect to all the leaders and the groups where your leaders are speaking to you and your team for you to teach them the why and inspire them to do the how and the what, the way that we all do it. So, but at the end of the day, you are the leader sitting at the top, and you have to be able to help your team get there. And he says the way that we do that is because inspiration and from the why comes from that feeling part of our brain, the limbic part of our brain, and not the communication part of our brain, which is the neocortex. And he says, so the way that companies and leaders inspire people to be able to believe, know why they believe what they believe, to give them a tangible thing to hang on to, is they tell the stories. And that's why, you guys, I tell you Peter Mork stories, why I tell you stories of our new CEO, Jean David, and how he believes and sees a vision and a future 50, 60 years down the road. I'm sharing a story to help inspire you to connect to the why that our founders and our CEO today have for our company, and help you believe it so that you can go out and help continue to get this brand out there to the world. And he says that's how we brand ourselves, and organizations communicate to the outside world and can be clearly understood, is that we walk our talk, you guys, is what I said. If we are saying this is what we believe, like Arbonne believes in clean, healthy lifestyle, not just products, but and everything about your life is clean and full of integrity, and is all about helping everybody have what we all get to have. It's equality. It's believing that if you want to be healthy, you can be healthy too if you live the products like I live. If you want to have life on your terms, you can have life on your terms just like I do if you want to do what I did. And this is what I did to do that. We walk our talk. You struggle to brand yourself if you're talking one way and you're saying, I believe this about Arbonne, but your walk doesn't represent it as well. And if you're out of alignment with what you say and what you do, you will struggle to create loyalty and inspire people to follow you. And that is hard truth, but I will tell you, it's your gift in this, because if you do believe what we believe, it will inspire you to live like we live. And when you do truly live the way we live, with Arbonne, everything Arbonne has given us, from the products to the vehicle to share and build our life with, then you will inspire people to do it with you. But most importantly, you will get the life that you were meant to have, because you can't not get healthy and or get successful if you live and do what it is we all do and live. Because this business works when you work it like the people who have worked it before you, better than it even worked for them whenever they did it. This business works better, faster, bigger today than it did whenever I started 16 years ago, which is why I wish my job was to work out there in the customer field more than it is to just inspire and lead. Because today, the people that are working in the customer field have bigger access to build bigger businesses than I did. If you look at the history of Arbonne, our founders and our visionary leaders, they have great businesses. But you guys, honestly, my business is bigger than my leaders' businesses. But it should be, because they gave me a head start that they did not get. I'm giving all of you a head start that I promise you I didn't get whenever I started my business. And that's where you guys should outdo my business every day, all day. because you can today. So integrity and getting and doing what you say you do is going to be key for you to get what you need for your life first and foremost, but for you to truly inspire the loyalty and the following that will create a massive organization for you in the future. So chapter 10, he says, communication is not about speaking, it's about listening. Terry Fisher, if you're on the call anywhere, text me because I want to know if you're on here. I asked if she was going to be on. He talks about symbols, you guys. And I love that our last CEO, Kay Zanotti, I don't know how she says it, but she was a branding expert. And you guys, she really did. Like today, I mean, I have drinks here and I work, but she helped us recognize that this brand, you guys, this logo helped represent Arbonne. And now we are all so proud to have Arbonne everywhere we are. And that, you guys, is where he talks about what that logo represents. And he talks about our flag and how Ronald Reagan had a guy that was like Lenny Skutnik, who helped save a lady out of a river, sitting in the hall where he represented the symbol of courage that Americans still have today. That is what a brand or a logo does, like a symbol. That's a symbol. And Arbonne's A is our symbol and our logo and our brand that helps to have the deep meaning that we know why it exists in terms bigger than simply to identify the company. He says, without clarity of why, a logo is just a logo. But you guys, Arbonne's why is so clear that whether people use Arbonne or not, when they see this A, they automatically know, oh, that's Arbonne. And whether they believe in it or they use it or do it or anything else, they know Arbonne represents integrity and cleanliness with products and all of the things that are good for you. They may not believe they want that for their life or want to live that for their life. I have people go, you know what? That's just not me. I'm not going to live that. Fine. But they know when they see this symbol and this logo that that's what that means for everybody else who does use it and believe in it. And eventually over time, you guys, that attracts people that may have said no at one point, but when they see you continually walking your talk because you are always representing this, not because, and there's lots of things that's running through my head right now. You don't want to be like selling, on your social media feed, like we've been taught and we're learning how to do, but you want people to connect you and this Arbonne logo. I promise you, when people see or think of Carlita, they automatically think of Arbonne. That's what you want people to think about you. But at the same time, they're thinking you and Arbonne, they want to be able to go, oh, that means you are a person of excellence. You are a disciplined person. You are a person that has gotten excited about taking control of your health. It doesn't mean you have to be at your perfect health goals, but it has to mean that you have become excited to believe that if you live the way Arbonne teaches us to live, that you will get healthy and have started your health journey and let people watch that journey and start to believe what you believe because they see you walking your talk and that what you say is true because you get the results that you said you were going to get whenever you started living this brand. And that is when people see this, they never say anything bad about Arbonne. If anybody ever like snarls up their nose or whatever, I don't back down, you guys. If people snarl their nose whenever I mention Arbonne, I'm like, oh my gosh, you must have had a bad experience with Arbonne. Tell me about it. What happened? Because I love it so much and it has changed my life. But tell me what happened to you. Whenever I challenge them to tell me what awful thing happened to them, they can't say a thing. There is not one person that has ever come to me and said, oh, well, let me tell you, this product killed my friend. Or this, product, or this person, didn't take care of me or whatever. It's not the company. It's never a valid reason why they're snarling their nose. It's just because they're in a group of people that are looking at and using and feeling the effect of the law of the mirror. People see what they could be if they did Arbonne, but because they don't have the discipline to do it, or they're in a group of people that don't have the discipline to do it, instead of talking about it and saying, yeah, I think I want to do that, and inspiring to go with what they want to do, they say no to it and talk bad about it because they see what they could be if they did. But they know they don't have the discipline to do it like you do and I do. And so instead of saying, I'm not good enough or disciplined enough to do that, they talk about Arbonne like it's a bad thing. It's not Arbonne. It's that they're looking at the mirror of what they could be, but they know they haven't developed or chosen to have the discipline to be. It's never Arbonne, you guys, that has done anything bad to people, because this company is full of integrity and always does the right thing at the end of the day, no matter what. So that is who this company is. And what I want you to believe and communicate so clearly. And part of that is when you get challenged, challenge them back, because there is nothing anybody will say to you that is valid in what Arbonne has or isn't for them. And then you might be able to get them to come to your part of the world and choose to follow and believe what you believe, instead of staying in that world where they would rather just talk about a company in a bad light. So just know you're the law of the mirror from John Maxwell's 15 Laws of Growth. And whenever people look at you and maybe snarl their nose, it's only because they see you doing what they wish they could do. And all your job is, you guys, my heart is, it doesn't get bitter for those people. I'm definitely going to challenge them, but my heart is for them to believe that I believe they can too. And this is where I use the verbiage, just listen to this and let me share it with you. Tell me no if it ends up not being a fit for you. Feel comfortable telling me no, but let me just share it with you first, because if you knew what I knew and you believe what I believed, you would know you could have this for your life too. And you guys, that right there will change people's perspective and almost make them want to cry, because they want to believe what you believe. They want to believe in themselves. They want to believe in Arbonne because they know there's nothing bad about Arbonne. But they need to know that somebody believes in them enough that they can start to believe in themselves too, and leave a camp that has pulled them down in life instead of helped giving them a hand up in life. That's our job, you guys. That was what Petter Mort did. That's our why of our company, is to help people know they are equal to everyone else and can have everything anyone else wants to have. But back to the logo. This is where he talks about how companies, we all believe and support our company. For companies to be perceived as great leaders and not dictators, all their symbols, including their logos, need to stand for something in which we all can all believe, something we can all support. And it takes clarity, discipline, and consistency. Do you guys see that? Those words that I've been saying, discipline, being consistent, not backing down. That is what we have to have. And you have to have for your own company. Arbonne has it. I have it as your leader. Your leaders have it. You have to decide to get that for yourself and to live this for you so that you can have it for your company. For a logo to become a symbol, people must be inspired to use that logo to say something about who they are. He says fashion labels do this better than ever, like Tory Burch. These are some of the ones that I know we see in Arbonne. Louis Vuitton. I have all these. I love these. But you guys, that's what Arbonne's logo does. And it says something about who we are. But he talks about Harley Davidson and how people even tattoo these things on their body. And this is why I asked Terry Fisher to come on here and share with us, you guys, because if those of you that don't know, I love this girl so dearly. I love her spirit for life. I love her heart for people. She is taking on all of our 30 days of healthy living groups for anybody who wants to let her help lead and help do this, because she has been the one to help Arbonne learn how to do these. And she does it better than anybody else out there in the company does it. And you guys, this girl just believes everything about Arbonne to the point that she has a tattoo of Arbonne on her body. And I know that it's in this book, it talks about, it doesn't mean that they, the symbol is about Harley Davidson. Whenever people tattoo their Harley logos on their body, he says the logo embodies an entire value set of their own. And Terry's value set lines up with Arbonne. And she wasn't always healthy, you guys. What you guys see in those massive, amazing pictures of this healthy, strong body is not who she's always been. And so I want you to not think, well, yeah, that's who she is. I want her to share who she has been and why she put this logo on her body and what this spoke to her. So Terry, I'm going to turn it over to you real quick. Can you unmute yourself?
Hey guys, how are you? Sorry, I'm a little froggy. My whole family's been sick, and honestly, I thought I was going to escape it, but I'm going to still fight to escape it because they've been down for a bit. But it's so funny, Carlita. Yesterday got so busy, and I was texting you, and then it ran off with me, and then I just read your text again. I was like, oh, that's why. And honestly, you guys, the first thing I said to Carlita was, I should be on these book club calls anyways. She shouldn't have to ask me. And it's not that it's 7 a.m. here. It's still, so Saturday is kind of like a little bit of a relief, even though I'm up. So that's a commitment I made yesterday, is not to have to be asked by Carlita, but to do it for myself and also just for my team. Because, you get poured into and then you're able to turn around and pour into other people. But I remember I was at GTC and I was walking through, and it was the first time we had the flower logo. And I was like, that is my next tattoo. And it never occurred to me that it was going to be the size that it is. I actually wanted it to just be about this big, but the guy was like, if you want it to look as beautiful as it is, it has to be bigger. And I wasn't thinking at that time, I wasn't thinking, what if I don't do Arbonne ever again? Or what if that wasn't it. It just was like, it just hit me that that's something that I needed to represent. And I don't advocate tattoos, you guys. I mean, it's just a whole thing. But at the end of the day, it's probably the most rebellious thing I've ever done. But I remember when I was on the cruise ship, the first time anyone in Arbonne saw it, they all thought it was a henna. They were like, is that a henna? Because they had a henna tattoo. I'm like, no, it's real. And Donna Johnson a few months ago sent a picture of the both of us because she had someone take a picture of my back. And you guys, it's there. It will always be there. People that aren't in Arbonne don't know what it is. But now that people know what I do, and when they see it, they know what it is. And I'm able to say, that's my brand. That's my logo. That's a part of why I do what I do. And so, each of you has your own story and journey. And Carlita was talking about how we can let people push us back on our feet and how we can let people doubt what we have. And I have to tell you, I have a list of people that are doing the cleanse. And I had one gal reach back out to me and say, it has stevia in there. And I just heard a lot of bad things about stevia. And she picked out like the smallest thing, but she's so unhealthy. Hold on one sec. And dogs, I swear, dogs are more work than kids. But I was able to be confident enough in our policy and our products in this plan to be able to talk her off that ledge. It wasn't the stevia or the guar gum that was stressing her out. It was the fact that she was going to have to commit to changing her life, even though she knows she needed to. And so what I did is I just spoke to what I believe and how I live my life and my health. And I was able to talk her off that ledge. And she eventually was like, you know what, you're right. I really do need to do this. And you guys, she saw my live on Facebook. I don't really even know her, but she's like, my word for the year of 2019 is health. And she goes, I believe I watched your live because you're the link to that. And I see how you live. And so when Carlita talks about, being confident and steadfast in what that in this brand and in Arbonne and what we can do for people, even when you get pushback and you may not be able to change a person's mind, but that you did everything that you could do to the nth degree to make sure they understand what they're saying no to or what they're giving up on. I don't even know that it's saying no. I think it's they're giving up on the ability. And then also to you guys, I agree with Carlita. I wear the logo. It's on my cups. It's on my bag. It's on my hat. It's on my shirt. You can see, you guys, and people don't say, ooh, there's the Arbonne lady. They say that they know me, but they know that I'm also proud to be an Arbonne independent consultant because of what I get to do for other people. And, I have been in the wellness industry and been teaching for a long time, but I've been in and out of health, like Carlita said. Many of us have. And so the good thing is what Arbonne has enabled me to do is still live life and have fun when there's time to go out and have fun. But it also enables me to come back and settle in. And, I'm taking care of my dad. He lives with us. He's 86. And I look at how his body is breaking down so quickly. And that won't be me because of what I've been able to know and understand now. And you guys, that's the power of what we have for people, is to give them life and longevity and health and vitality, because they know how to do it in a very simple way. And so I'm going to close with this. The logo's on my back. I'll find a picture of it and I'll send it to you guys in your group. But at the end of the day, it's big. Like, it's big. And above it, it says Live Beautifully. And that's the name of my nation, is Live Beautifully Nation, Live Beautifully Team. And it's about living life beautiful. And you can't live life beautiful if you're unhealthy. You just can't. Because quality of life is affected by our health. And if you have good health, you have good quality of life. And so those two things go hand in hand. And if you can't get that through anyone else, if you can't get someone to say yes, say, listen, quality of life is based upon your health. And if you're in poor health, there are so many things you cannot do, don't want to do, can't do well to live and enjoy life, a beautiful life. So those two things have to go hand in hand, you guys. That's the power of what we have. It's not selling a fit kit to someone so you get a $50 bonus and they get into the group that we're going to do. That's not what it's about. It's about transforming lives because we know we can. And so I just want to leave you guys with that. And I'll find a picture, Carlita. You're so funny. I was like, why is she on this call? But like I said, I should be on this call every week anyways. And you guys, this book's a hard read for me. It's very, very analytical. And I'm just don't go that way. But I'm going to head off for now. I'm going to go live in our group. I was going to go yesterday, but it ran away from me. But I'm going to go live in our Facebook Clean Eating group and just let people know exactly what they're going to be able and what they're in for. So I love you guys.
Thank you, Terry. And you guys, that's what it is that it represents who she is. It doesn't represent Arbonne anymore. Like she said, if she quit doing Arbonne, it wouldn't matter. She still represents living a beautiful life, and that she believes that it starts with your health and what you do for your health, and that she can do that and help people do that with or without Arbonne. And so can we. Arbonne just makes it simple for us to be able to do that. Speaking of dogs. So it says, based on things they see and hear, the outsiders can clearly, consistently report what an organization believes. Then and only then can a symbol start taking on meaning. And it's the truest test to how effective a megaphone has been produced. When clarity is able to filter out all the way through the organization and come to life in everything that comes out of it. You come out of Petter Morick. You come out of Carlita Nelson and every leader that you have in this team. Are you still communicating as clearly as the why and the symbol of what it represents as we all have for you? Because you guys, that's what you have to do if you want to build an incredible organization like we have all built and Petter has built in this company. He says it needs to speak to people, and it needs to be saying through all the clutter and the noise, I can hear you. I can hear what you're saying to me whenever all of it is like, there's so many things out there in the world, but people can almost follow the Arbonne A as a beacon of light. Like it's like a honing, like a lighthouse on the edge of a shore, that they know if I go to that light and I stay close and get to Arbonne, I'm going to be where I want to be. And that it can be truth for them. So he said, though products may drive sales, they alone cannot create loyalty. Can create loyalty. Cannot create loyalty among people who aren't even customers. And like I said, you guys, people that don't even like Arbonne or use Arbonne will know what Arbonne follows and represents. And he says people that are in Arbonne or Apple, he said they're having a cult-like following. And that, you guys, is where if you get accused of being in a cult or drinking the Kool-Aid or whatever, be excited. That means you are representing your brand so well that it's speaking loudly to people, and that people are going to try to challenge. Do you really believe what you believe? Because if I can challenge you and you back down, you don't believe. Well, guess what? I believe, and you're not going to change my belief. If you want to believe what I believe, come with me. And I'd love to help you know why I believe it. But if you don't want to believe what I believe, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving my group to come to you. So he says, if everything Apple does and says only the things that they believe. He says, if what you do doesn't prove what you believe, then no one will know what your why is, and you'll be forced to compete on price, service, quality, features, benefits, the stuff of commodities. Apple has a clear and loud megaphone and is exceptionally good at communicating its story. So you guys, Arbonne has a very good megaphone. It's clear and loud, but you have to check what you are saying through your megaphone. Are you being consistent? Are you saying and doing only the things that prove what you believe, and that there is no one that will not be able to believe you, because everything you say communicates it the same way? He says, the other thing on the page 166, he says, what's good for one company isn't good for every company. It's not just what or how you do things that matters. What matters more is what and how you do things is consistent with your why. He says, your company has to pass, you have to pass the celery test. And so I was like, what's the celery test? I've never heard of this. And he talks about how, all these different companies that have like ping pong tables and their things, like that's what makes our company great and everything. He goes, it doesn't mean your company's going to be great if you go buy a ping pong table and put it in your conference room. And he says, if you went to a party and you were going around and asking people what you needed in your organization, you would get all kinds of advice. And you guys, this is where I'm going to tell you, in Arbonne, you would get all kinds of advice from leaders. And what I want you to know is that your leaders in this organization of Uniting Leaders has every single thing you could possibly need for you to be able to have a successful company. You don't need to go listen and take advice from people of what they're doing in their business to make their business successful. You have everything you need if you will just connect to what we have for you. And because there's different ways. He says some people are going to tell you you need to buy M&Ms, or some people are going to tell you you need rice milk. Some people are going to tell you you need Oreo cookies. Some people are going to tell you you need celery. Go get celery. Because you're going to get great advice from all these highly accomplished people, and some of them are even in the same industry. So you can get advice from people outside of Arbonne, but mostly important, what I'm talking about now, are advice you can get within Arbonne. And your message, our message as your leaders, has to be consistent. What you need to know how to do is to tell the Arbonne story to anyone and everyone in whatever way they are willing to hear it. That is your job. And your job is fully your role, and what you need to do that role and that job with. You have every single thing you need to do it with. Not because I have been the one to do it all and be good at it and help you get good at it, but because other people in our organization, like Terry and her 30 days, Whitney and Beth have been helping us learn about social media postings and things. And Beth Lomas has done that too. You guys, we have other people that are really good. Jill Lyons does that. That has shown us how this is how you can attract people that like this part. But the bottom line is each one of those are just a reach out method that are telling the Arbonne story, which is what's communicating something tangible for people to believe in your why and do what it is we do because they believe what we believe. And so don't think you got to go out and listen to anybody else but your leaders, because it will not, what you will hear them doing won't connect back to why we do what we do. Why we do what we do, no matter what method you use, is to tell the Arbonne story and see if it's a fit for the person that you're talking to. And that is why we do what we do. He says the celery test, though, he says if you go to the store and you buy all of those things, he says you spend a lot of money, you spend a lot of time, trying to go gather everything that everybody's doing. And it is so, I'm seeing these scenarios in my head right now as I'm talking to you, of all these people that run over here to do what this person has told me to do, and run over here and do what this person has told me to do. And it costs you time. It costs you team that you have worked to bring in, because they no longer know what you believe, because you're all over the place, because you think it's a different system, it's a different thing. It's not. Everything we do is the same thing that we do. It's tell the story of Arbonne. It's just a matter of who you're talking to and being able to say it in a language that speaks clearly to them, enough for them to say yes to you, come into your business at whatever level and however they want to do that, and be able to say no, that they can find a fit here. He says, so you'll spend a lot of money and time whenever you go out and you're trying to do what everybody else is doing. He says, if you filter your decisions through your why, you spend less time at the supermarket and you spend less money. He says, whenever you get to the counter, if all you had was celery and rice milk, it's obvious to people walking by what you believe. They would stop and say, I can see that you believe in looking after your health. They may say to you, he says, I feel the same way. I have a question for you. You guys, I've had people come up to me and ask me things like that in the public shopping stores. Whenever I'm shopping, they will come up and ask me things about in my cart. Like, well, is that good? I've heard about it. And I get to start a conversation because they're looking at what I have in my basket, because it represents who I am and what I believe. But if I have everything in my basket, and there's times I do, you guys, when I went for the holiday shopping, I had everything in my basket. I had M&Ms in my basket. But you guys, it's not what I always do. And he says, if you have, he said, you just attracted a customer, an employee, a partner, or a referral simply by making the right decisions, simply ensuring that what you do proves what you believe, makes it easy for those who believe what you believe to find you. You have successfully communicated your why based on what you do. Do you guys see that that's where it takes integrity from you to live what you are saying? If what you are saying and living represents what you believe and why you do it, you're going to attract people, because they're going to know you can help them. And that is true for everybody. Again, no matter where you are. He says there's going to be times that you're going to, get the chocolate cake, and you want that chocolate cake, but you're going to pay the price for it. Just like we all probably didn't eat perfect over the holidays. That's okay. We knew we were going to pay the price. The beauty, you guys, is I've talked to people and I've said, you know what? I eat all those foods that are traditional in my family, and I love them, you guys. I crave them, and I'm so excited to get them whenever I get them. But I am so miserable and so over ready to get back to what I normally live ASAP, because I don't like how I feel. What you need to know is most of the world out there doesn't even know that how to feel different. They don't know. And that's what, again, breaks my heart, you guys, is that people don't know how good healthy feels, because they live that way every day in their life, whether it's with the foods that they eat or the way they live in their finances. People don't know that if they develop the discipline to live healthy and beautiful, like Arbonne teaches us in every way to live healthy and beautiful, that they don't have to live with that ugly, bogged down, toxic, stressed out feeling in their bodies, their finances, their time, or anything else. And that's what we get to communicate to our world by what we have in our basket and how we live, and passing the celery test and making sure that everything we do, live, and say passes through the filter of our why. And if it passes through your why filter, and you have been able to clearly, with a why clearly stated in an organization, anyone within the organization can make a decision as clearly and as accurately as the founder of our company. A why provides the clear filter for decision making. Any decisions, hiring, partnership, strategies, tactics should all pass the celery test. So he talks about an example of a guy who was a parent, and he had 2 videos that he could use to help entertain his child for a little bit, because he was tired of being the parent. And one was a Disney movie, and one was a movie from a company he didn't know. And he said he hadn't watched either one of them, but which one do you think he chose? And he chose the Disney movie because of their why is clear, that they provide good family fun. Even though they've had controversy, those companies pass the celery test. Arbonne passes the celery test. But my challenge to you is, are you passing the celery test? And are you learning how to equip yourself to pass the celery test? I didn't know how to pass the celery test whenever I first started. Neither did Terry Fisher. We've learned how to pass the celery test. And what I love is I tell people, Arbonne is fail proof. If you live Arbonne's products in every way, our vegan catalog, you're going to pass the celery test, because it's going to be obvious to people how you live, because you can't get healthy and more beautiful if you're you can't not get healthy and more beautiful if you're living Arbonne inside and out. And he just talks about how, if you violate your celery test, and how VW did that and how they came back. And he says at the end, he says, the only difference is what they're doing to bring a cause to life. And you guys, we have, whenever I talk about like these, I wanted to use this as an analogy. These cars, he talked about car companies and how they have all these different kind of cars. We have different kinds of skincare systems in our catalog. And people always want to know, well, is this one good for me or not? You guys, they all connect back to Arbonne's why. They all are formulated with the clean ingredients. It's just a matter of which style and model is best for you. And if you're young, one of the clear lines is going to be better for you. The prep work line may be better for you. If you're in the aging world or anti-aging world healthy aging world that we're all getting into, then this line may be what's best for you. But they all fall underneath Arbonne's why of what we do and what we stand for. So you can't choose wrong. You just have to choose which model best fits you. And he talks about at the very end, what companies say and do matters. He goes, a lot. It matters a lot, period. It is at the what level that a cause is brought to life. It is at this level that a company speaks to the outside world, and it is then that we can learn what the company believes. And you guys, we know our why, but it's what we do that is speaking to our outside world that is affecting the majority of people and how they are going to believe. And are they going to be those early or late majority or even the laggards that eventually come in and maybe not be loyal to Arbonne in the beginning, but they will eventually come in because what we say and do is so clear and loud that they cannot ignore that this logo and this brand could not be something that is good and safe enough for them to use too. And when you get that 15 to 18% that live the what so clearly, the majority and that tipping point for your business to take off and explode like a rocket ship will happen. But you are your business. And that is what you have to take ownership of and change your mindset that you're not here doing a side job or doing some little something. This is a business. It's an opportunity. It is a life-changing opportunity. And I remember hearing whenever I came into Arbonne early that you get one, maybe two true life-changing opportunities for your life. This is absolutely one of them. And yet, so many people treat it so carelessly. Don't be one of those people that let this life-changing opportunity filter through your fingers and wash away and do nothing for you whenever it could be what changes your life, but more importantly, maybe even help you live out your purpose and your why, making a difference in everybody else's life because you started first to believe what we believe and now help other people believe it with you. I love you all, and I hope this was helpful and maybe a little less confusing and hard after hearing what I shared with you so that it can speak to you in a way that you can believe what we all believe. Thank you guys for listening.
I kind of like it though.